everyone. I'm just up here now at our location 2, one of our milking parlours, well, 2 of our milking parlours, one of our locations. So yeah, I just come up here. This video I'm gonna just do about the parlours. So just go through it, just show you what we're doing, show you how's being milked, show you the system. Yeah, and we'll, I'm just going to wing it again. We'll see what we can see and see what we can find. And yeah, by the end of it, you'll know about the Almarise parlours anyway. But they're all. So yeah, just a quickie about them really. They're all 75 a side. They're rapid exits. They're a Bico parlour. Built like absolute. Well, they're bomb-proof. They're bomb-proof. Everything's independent on them, so we can, if we need to, we can milk with just one side. And again, everything, like I say, is independent. Everything is a bolt-on, bolt-off, basically. There's very little moving parts on them, because we cannot afford to have parlours go down here. We're milking 20 hours of the day, and 3,500 cows go through each parlour 4 times a day. So yeah, so they need to be working, they need to be going. So yeah, so we're going to have a look, and I'll show you right from cows being pushed in, right at the bottom in the wash pen, right the way up to when the milk goes into the tanker. So anyway, let's see what we can find. So we're down here now at the back of location 2. So if you see behind me now, yeah, this is basically the back side of where we were stood. We were stood the other side of this building earlier on. So yeah, so we'll just come down here now, and we'll see somewhere. The cow pushers are down here, so we'll just show them. Well, they're not actually pushing cows in at the minute because they've just finished a group. So what we'll do is, instead of going around with the cow pushers, because that's quite self-explanatory. Basically, all they do is they walk up to the other end of one of them sheds, and they'll push the cows out. The cows come down here, and as I've said to some of you before, because obviously some of you have been watching these videos a lot longer than others, they get pushed straight into here, which is what we call the wash pen. In the wash pen, there's little mushrooms there, and they got nozzles inside them. They spin around. They're like a sprinkler, basically. They spin around, and they wash the udders and the bottoms of the cows so that they're clean, basically, for milking. It'd be the same sort of thing as if at home we'd use a wipe, or we'd use a Cotswold dairy brush. Same type of thing. So we get them wet. Okay, so that runs for a minute, it stops for a minute, and then it runs for 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So the first cycle is just to soak them, the second cycle is to actually wash them. Okay, so if you see up there, there's a group of cows that have just been pushed out of the wash pen. They're in what we now call the drying pen. So once they've been washed, they go into the dry pen, and in the dry pen they stay there for about 15 minutes. And it's literally what it says on the tin. They stand there, they dry. There's fans outside that are pushing warm air up underneath the floor, and they come up through the same type of mushroom. So they come up through these little mushrooms here. That's just warm air. It's blowing it up, and it's targeting the udder, just to dry it. See that, like that cow there? She's probably been stood there for 10 minutes now. I don't know if you can see, but then she's dry. Her teats are dry. She's a dry cow. She's dry anyway. Look, you look at her back. So yes, that's basically what that's doing there. They're stood there, they're drying, and at this point they're waiting to be milked. There's 300 in a house, so we move them in batches of 300. The only time that we won't move them as batches of 300 is if there's fresh cows, if they're a group of fresh cows, because what we do then is we have them in 2 groups, 150 each. So we put a barrier, or we split one of these long houses in half, and we have 150 in one side and 150 in the other. Main reason for doing that is so that when the health men are in there at feeding time, it gives them a little extra time to check the cows, because they're not fed at the same time. They're fed as an A house, and then 20 minutes later they come back and they feed the B, so the other half of it. Like I say, it just gives the health men a bit of time just to sort of get around them, and they're not rushed. It's not like they've locked at 10 o'clock, it's not like they've just locked 300 cows and they've got to get through them all in 10 minutes. You know, they've got 20 minutes to get through 150 cows. They might not have to see every single cow, but if they've got 20 cows to see, it's, you know, and it's not one guy either, it's 3 or 4 guys. So yeah, it just helps them. But generally speaking, when we're moving cows around, they move around in groups of 100, of 300. And that's how we deal with them, and they tend to stay in that group for the whole lactation, or at least until they're pregnant anyway. And then we make what we call a pregnant house, where every cow in that house is pregnant, and they just carry on until they're due to be dried off. So as you can see now, these cows have finished drying in the dry pen, so they're now being presented to the back of the parlour. The gate's gone up, and this cow pusher here will go down and he'll push them to the back he'll push that up underneath that gate, and then again it'll be like a backer gate at home. We'll just use it just to gently bring the cows up the collecting yard. So yeah, so like I said earlier on, parlours out here, there's no rotary parlours, which people are amazed at. You couldn't get a rotary parlour at the minute on the market that can milk as many cows in an hour with one of these. We can milk up to 750 cows an hour with this at the minute. They're all rapid exits, 75 a side. We're milking cows 4 times a day here, so the most milk we'll get a milking is about 15-16 litres. Yeah, so going back to rotary parlours, Kennard Farms has I think it's a 100-point Westphalia or gear parlour in. He's struggling to do 550 cows an hour with his, and we can milk 750 with a rapid exit. Yeah, admittedly we've got manpower in there, you know, but there's 7 guys in this parlour, and well, you'll see in a minute, you know, they ain't hanging round. They ain't hanging round. Fair play to them. So yeah, so these cows have finished milking. They've just been let out, and they will make their way back to the house, and then eventually the cow pusher will come up here and he'll push them down, and they'll be the last of them. Then he'll shut them away, bring the next group out. So yeah, right, we'll jump down in the pit and we'll see what the lads are at. Right, so I'm stood now in between parlour 3 and 4, same location. So we have what we call an I formation. So we have 2 parlours each side, one that side and one that side, and then on the end of them is your collecting yard, your dry pen, and then out the end of that is your cow accommodation. So I think we'll just focus on parlour 3. So this is a new line that's just come in now. Here, this guy here is what we call the lead milker. He or him there, I mean. He's running down and he's stripping the cows, so he's checking for mastitis. And he's also, it's the last bit, well, they say it's the last bit of stimulation, but personally I think that stimulation starts in the wash pen, right down there. That lead milker is trying is the ultimate word, to work about 90 seconds in front of the lads putting the units on. So there's 4 lads putting units on here at the minute. So there's 5 guys putting units on, 1 guy stripping, the lead milker, and then there's what we call an inside cow pusher, who's down there at the minute just pushing cows into the parlour himself. But as you can see, it doesn't take him long to push on down the line. The unit's on. One thing you'll notice is that they don't wear gloves. Something they've never done, and they don't seem fit that they need them. So yeah, so we don't wear gloves. Whether it's right or wrong, I'm not going to argue that. Yeah, the guys don't wear gloves, but they do wash their hands. Have got soap for washing their hands at the other end. So they do kind of disinfect in between each row. So yeah, there you go. This last 30 units on. And that is all them guys do for 8 hours of the day. Is milk cows, put units on. Yeah, milking takes. Right. Yeah, so I think milking takes about 4.5 hours, something like that. That's what we try and do it in anyway. It takes about 4.5 hours. Each parlour's got 3,500 cows to milk. 4.5 hours. Like I say, we're running between 700 and 750 cows an hour. If you want a big figure, it's about 3,500 cows an hour milked on this farm through all of our parlours. That's just a big fun fact that some people like to know. So yes, they're going for about 4 hours, 4.5 hours takes us to milk. We're milking four times a day. All of our after milking teat care routine is just a spray gun. It's an iodine that that is made here not on the farm, but it's made down the road in our processing plant. And the vets have full control over that. The vets are the ones that make the decisions on what goes into our pre and post dips and how they're formulated. Obviously they talk to us about it and we talk to them about it. And they differ as we go through the year, because the weather events change, which mean that kind of thing has to change. During the summer, it's very dry here, very dry outside. During the winter, it's very wet outside, more because it's quite moist. Them jets there are just to clean the deck, ready for the next. Ready for the next line to come in. So, right, sorry. So basically, let's talk about the parlour. We have this flow nexus, or nexus flow as we call it. Yeah. The only ID we have here is yield. The only thing it does is record the yield data of each cow. So every cow in its right side has a chip. So when that cow walks in to the parlour, this chip sends a signal to an antennae that's just below it. There's like a square antennae in there. Okay, it lets the parlour know that she's stood there, and then that yield then is then transferred to a computer, and we can look on the computer and see what her yield is. That's all it does. There's no rumination stuff on it. There's no heat detection stuff on it. It's just for recording the milk yields. And in my opinion, it's about useless, because the only time you can see it is at 12 o'clock tonight. So if you've got a cow that's sick, you can't, like when I was in Bromyard, you could, working for Henry, you could milk your load of cows, you could sit there after milking, you could scroll right the way down through on the DP21, and you'd pick a cow out that was sick nearly from a mile off. They were missed, but nearly from a mile off, because you'd be able to see the milk had dropped. But you can't do that here. It's a 12 o'clock thing. It's 24 hours out of date by the time you get it. So, like I say, it's good. So we know, you know, we can work out what cows are milking and what houses are giving what. But as a management tool, really, I don't think it's where it needs to be. Not for the amount of cows that we're milking. But again, it's a very good system. It's fail-safe. It's never let us down. It milks 23,000 cows every day without a blip. So, right, okay. So, as you can see, and as close as you know, unit goes on, milk comes out. That's the bare basics of it. Down through the pipe. Okay. So it goes from that pipe and it goes down into the basement, which we shall go next. So yeah. So we're back out at the back of the parlour again. And down. So all our parlours are direct to line. They're all basement parlours. I don't know what you're going to hear in here, which is a bit loud. But basically, so we're down in the basement now. This is the basement for the parlour we were just in. So, this pipe here, this is the black pipe that I spoke to you, I told you about there. Comes down through here, in through this little gadget. This little gadget, which is, as you can see, corroding, is to do with the backflush system. So when the cows finish milking, it disinfects the unit. It's just a solenoid. It's not really anything to do with the milking, you know, the milk itself. But anyway, the milk comes down through here, This here is the weigh cell. This is what weighs all the milk. This is what gives us the figure that was up on the computer upstairs. Okay, milk comes down through here, runs along these pipes, all the way down here to what we call the receiver tank. Now, you get this in all parlours, because you can't have a pump running continuously. It flows into a tank, and then when the tank reaches a certain level, it then pumps it again somewhere to another tank or to wherever it's going. All systems are different. So basically, this is the receiver tank. It's a, what is it? It's a, I think it's 300 litre tank. So when there's 300 litres of milk gone into it, the pump then turns on like it's going now, and it then pumps it onto the chiller, which is upstairs, which I'll take you to now. So all the white pipes that you see, all these here, they're all vacuum lines. So that's what gives the parlour the suction when it's milking the cows. Right, we'll go upstairs and I'll show you that one. Right, so we're upstairs now, and we are back to where what we call the balance tank, which is this big old boy here. She is 1,500 litres, I think it is now. Which ones? Yeah, because they're 1,000 litres. They're 1,500. So this is the balance tank. So when that receiver tank downstairs that I was talking about runs, it pumps the milk from downstairs, and it comes up through these pipes here, along here, all the way along there, and then it drops it into this balance tank, which I've just shown you. Once that reaches its desired height, or it's full basically, another pump then pumps it down here. So it comes out of the balance tank, through the pump, through the filters, which are these, and we use, well, I'll show you a filter, but they haven't got a spare one here. Right. It comes through the filters, Then it comes through this chiller. So this chiller here is basically cooling it down from body temperature, so 38 degrees, down to about 3 degrees, 2 degrees they want it at. So milk comes in here, and then in here there's like lots of little pipes, little copper pipes. The milk runs through there, and it comes out, and then goes off to the bulk tanks out the front there. So all our milk is cooled with glycol here, as opposed to an ice bank, because number one, an ice bank is very inefficient to run, and number two, we can lower the temperature. I think glycol has got a freezing, I think glycol freezes at like -21 or something like that, so we can cool a lot of milk quickly with it. So so yeah, back to this again, back to the chiller. Milk flows in, flows through it all. These pipes here, bring the cold glycol into the system, into the chiller. They're cooling it. Touch one, it's freezing cold. Touch that one, it's warm. Okay, because obviously one's bringing fresh glycol in, the other one's taking glycol out and pumping it back into that system to cool it down again. Right, milk's gone through the chiller. Comes out of here. It's coming through at about 3 degrees at the minute. Yeah, about 3 degrees. We don't use a electronic thermometer on there, because believe it or not, when we're washing the parlours and we have to wash the chiller out, it goes from like 2 degrees and it will shoot right up to 80 degrees. It blows electronic thermometers like a bomb. But anyway, so that's why we have to use the old-fashioned job. Right, so the milk comes through here and up here. This here is, if you see pipes like this from the parlour onwards, they're insulated pipes, because we have no refrigeration the other side of this chiller block. There's no refrigeration. The chiller's chilled it, it's on its own now. So right, we'll walk through here now. So we're out the front now. We're out in what we would call a dairy or a tank room. This is just, we don't even have a name because it's just the place where all the milk comes. So basically, as you can see, I don't know if you can see, there's pipes here with all that insulation on. See, so if we just say it's coming down here, I'm not sure which side of they're milking into. So at the minute the milk is coming down this pipe, it's coming through here, there's the milk, and it's going into, let me just see, it's not going into that one because that one's closed, it's coming into this silo here, so that's where the milk is ending up, is in these silos. We have 4 silos in each location, each silo will hold 90,000 litres. This is the front of the silo. So the milk that you saw in the parlour is being pumped here. Alright. Do you know what? I don't know how long it takes to get from the parlour to here. Never measured it. Pretty interesting thing to look at. So that's it basically. That's milk from the parlour back to into the silo. Then from the silo, it's pumped back along these pipes again. So it's pumped back along these pipes again, all along here, and straight into the back of the tanker there. Alright, them tankers are 32,000 litres. And we have, what do we have? We have roughly about 30 a day. I think we have, yeah, we have about 30 to 32 a day, depending on the milk we're doing. And basically the old fact is that one leaves the farm every 3/4 of an hour. So obviously they don't, because they come in spits and spaffs, you know, but if you were to spread it across the day, every 3/4 of an hour, one would come and one would go. So yeah, they're just normal tankers. They're a bit bigger than the ones we'd have at home, but they're good, they do the job. And they managed to haul 920 some odd thousand litres a day away from here. So yeah, you can see there that these are the silos. Yeah, 90,000 litres each they'll hold. So we fill one of them up in a milking in a bit. Would you? Milking in a... no, what am I on about? About 2 milkings we'd fill one of them up, yeah. So, but we hold a lot of milk as well, because sometimes if the factory is backed up, we'll be backed up here. Like we got about 1.2 million litres worth of storage on the farm, and 3 days ago we were up at 800,000 litres on the farm, and the factory couldn't get tankers out quick enough because they had an emergency up there. So you know, it does fill. You know, it does fill. We've got enough for about, well, 30 hours worth of milk. I suppose we got enough storage for. We could do a bit more if we were messing around with it a little bit. You know, we moved milk from silo to silo if we needed to, but we try not to do that. All the milk that leaves here, it goes in them tankers and it goes over a weigh bridge, so everything is weighed out. There are no, although we do record in you know, physical litres going through the parlour, we don't use that. That's not we use it for our own management purposes, but we don't use it for selling the milk to the factory. The milk to the factory has to go over the weigh bridge, and there's a docket that goes with it, and that is the milk that leaves. Whether the Beco says that there's 1,000 litres more or 1,000 litres less, that is the milk. That's what we get paid for, is what goes over the weigh bridge. So right, we're in right now. We're in the lab. We have our own labs on farm, where we are, which I think I'll do another video on at some point, because it's an interesting thing to go into. But basically, we do all our own butter fats. We do our own butter scans, and we do like our own SNFs and all them type things, our own freeze depression point, all that kind of stuff. We do all that here, and it also gets done again at the factory, and we kind of compare to make sure that, you know, things are there or thereabouts. You know, the consistency of the milk is going to change from here to there, because, you know, we do obviously mix the silos, but then it goes out on the road in the tankers and things change. So we also do our own antibiotic testing here. The factory doesn't do any antibiotic testing. We do it all here. So yeah, that's it basically. I think I've covered everything. It was a bit of a, although I had planned this video, it's very, I'll stay in here a minute because it's quiet. It's a very difficult thing to do, because number one, it's not my area, so you know, I won't actually film me doing it. I've spent a lot of time in Parlours, doing stuff in Parlours. Spent a lot of time here, but it's, like I say, it's not my department, so you won't actually see me milking a lot of cows. So it was just literally, it was just from the shed, through the Parlours, to here, into the tanker, and off down the road. So yeah, so I hope it kind of showed you what I was hoping to show you. Yeah. Anyway, we shall see you all soon, and yeah, for now. Bye.